welcome to Edinburgh Napier University MSc Business Management webinar. My name is Helen Sparopoulos and I'm the Admissions Manager at Stafford Global. And joining me this evening all the way from the university is Jackie. Good evening to you, Jackie.
Good evening, Helen, and good evening everyone who's joining us across the globe. Welcome.
That's right, and Jackie's quite correct. I can see that there are quite a lot of you that have joined us. I can see from Middle East and as far as Africa. So welcome to the webinar this evening. What we're going to do is I'm just going to briefly introduce you to Stafford and what our function is. I'm then going to hand you over to Dr. Jackie, who's going to chat about the program. And at the end of the presentation, you will have the opportunity to type out any questions that you'd like to ask me or Dr. Jackie. What I am going to do is look at these questions quite carefully because a lot of them are identical. So I am going to start grouping the questions together. Okay, so let's get started. Who is Stafford Global? Well, Stafford Global was established in 1993 and we are the resource centre for 5 UK universities, one of which is Edinburgh Napier University. Now, we do offer a variety of programs ranging from certificates to diplomas, bachelors, masters, right through until doctorate level. So we really do have all the programs for your personal and your professional needs. Now, the mere fact that you're here this evening means that you have been in touch with one of our experienced academic consultants. And our function is to assist you throughout the application process, ensure that you are on the right program for your personal and professional needs. And we do actually get that very important unconditional offer for you. We also do offer administrative support and a little bit of academic support as well. So I'm now going to hand you over to Dr. Jackie, who's going to chat about the program, and I'll be joining you again towards the end of the presentation. Over to you, Dr. Jackie.
Thank you so much, Helen, and welcome everyone to obviously this webinar, which really what I would like to do today is to give you some background and give you some information regarding the benefits of choosing us to support your your postgraduate education. And what we'll do is I'll tell you a little bit about the program, the MSc Business Management, and then you can ask some questions at the end. But I'd like to, as I said, just thank you very much for coming along today. And it's actually a really special day, and I was telling Helen that this is bonfire night in the UK. So this is the night that we actually get to light some fires and set up some fireworks. And really just celebrate the fact that several hundred years ago, Guy Fawkes didn't manage to blow up the Houses of Parliament. So it's actually quite an interesting night tonight. So about myself, as you can see from the slides, I've been at Edinburgh Napier University nearly 15 years now, and I have a PhD in Information Systems Management. And in fact, as you can actually see from my qualifications, I've actually got quite a few degrees. And what you'll find is, if you come to Edinburgh Napier for your education, is that most of your academics will also have similar degrees. And in fact, I actually had the privilege of winning a national award recently for my online teaching, and that was a Natural Teaching Fellow Award. So there's only been 5 awarded in Scotland, and I've been one of those. So that was a lovely experience. As you can see though, in terms of areas of specialism that I teach, my main focus has always been managing innovation. I've also taught undergraduate creativity courses. For many years, I've taught entrepreneurship and startup and growth issues for new businesses. And my passion and my love has been always for online learning. So that's a bit about me. As you can see as well, in terms of my roles in the institution, I'm the program leader for the MSc Business Management, associate professor in entrepreneurship, and actually luckily enough to be head of learning and teaching here at Edinburgh Napier University. Okay, so what I would also say is just absolutely fantastic that people get the opportunity to go to work online, to study online, and really engage, thinking about um, different topics, but being able to share their insights with each other. Okay, so I'll just move on to the next slide. So, thinking about where we are and who we are, and as I said, we're Edinburgh Napier University and we are the business school. And where are we based? Well, we're actually based in Scotland, which is just off continental Europe. It's actually in the top 1/3 of the map that you're looking at the moment. And Scotland has nearly 6 million people. We have quite a broad education system, and by that I mean that students study actually for 4 years, not 3 years at their undergraduate programme. And in terms of our unique selling point, although there is 18 other higher educational um, universities in Scotland, what we are focused on and what people know about us is our employability focus. And what we find is that master's students who study with us, they tend to actually get promoted as they move through their studies. And it's because really I would say the wealth of skills and knowledge and experience that they gain while they have been studying here in the Edinburgh Napier. And really my fingers are crossed for you that that is the case as you study and you get that opportunity to fulfill your dreams and your hopes in your career, because that's probably why you would be studying your MSc in business management. So moving on to think a little bit more about Scotland itself. In terms of Scotland, some of you may recognise some of the scenery of Scotland. Certainly, in one of these pictures, the very top one, you can see a train on a very significant train track, and that train track was featured in the movie Harry Potter, actually. So if you like Harry Potter, then you can certainly go up and visit this train track, which is up at the top, near the top of Scotland. Also, we have the Loch Ness monster, and this is a mythological creature that's supposed to live in our lochs, and lochs are just the Scottish way for saying lakes. Lots of the lochs in Scotland are very deep, particularly Loch Ness itself, where Nessie, as we call her, lives. And thinking about Scotland, the Rough Guide called it the most beautiful country in the world. So it's an absolutely gorgeous place to see. We don't get a lot of sunshine, but when we do, it's just absolutely glorious because it's a very green country, because we get a lot of rain, and you can actually see that in the pictures. So yes, let me tell you a little bit about where we're based then, because we're actually based in a place called Edinburgh, and that's the capital of Scotland. Edinburgh is just the most amazing city. It truly is. Last week we had graduation, and I was privileged to meet several of our online students, and they had the wow factor in terms of what Scotland had to offer. There's actually a Royal Mile in Scotland, in Edinburgh, where you can walk 1 mile, and at one end of the mile is the Edinburgh Castle, and at the other end is the palace that's owned by Queen Elizabeth. So she's not always there. As you know, she has another home in London, in Buckingham Palace, which is only an hour away by plane, but she often comes up to visit us, and we know when she's here because they fly the royal flag out on top of her palace. So it's a beautiful thing to see. All her ancestors lived in there, and you can go and visit it if you do come up to Scotland. So really lovely. In terms though of some of the other things to think about in terms of Edinburgh, it was voted UK city, one of the best UK cities for more than the last 3 years. So actually an amazing place to live, amazing place to be, and a lovely quality of life for those people in Edinburgh. Interestingly enough, given the size of Edinburgh as well, and it's not that big, we actually are home to more FTSE 100 and tech startup companies than any other UK city outside London. So lots and lots of positives around Edinburgh. And one of the things that we are most known for is our arts festivals. We're actually home to one of the largest arts festivals, the Edinburgh Fringe, in the world. So certainly something worth seeing if you're going to come up to graduation, maybe in July. If you do decide to study with us, you can take a few weeks, travel around the UK, maybe even go over to Ireland or other parts of Europe, and then come back and see the wonderful festival that we have here. So lovely place for you. So now to move on, we've talked a little bit about Scotland, we've talked a little bit about Edinburgh, and I'm sure what you want to hear a bit more about, of course, is the university itself and some of its history as well. So we actually started off as Napier Technical College in 1964, and this really relates, as I said, back to what our main focus is on, which is employability and making sure people have the skills to make a difference in their own workplace. And so for several decades, we really focused on that. And now in 2019, really, we are a place that is passionate about ensuring that students are employable, that they have exposure to enterprise, and they're really empowered to be the best that they can be in terms of their own employment and the passions that they want to follow. So we're a very inclusive and very innovative organisation, and we actually have around about 6,000 international students studying with us who get, and in many cases, they get to remain in their own country as well, which I think is just fantastic. There is about 1,500 students who are actually studying online. And as I said, we've got lots and lots of students throughout the world who actually go out to teach and they get the experience of the faculty. So really excellent opportunity to study with Edinburgh Napier. Okay, just want to say a little bit about the university and our ability to nurture talent, which I think is pretty important these days. What was interesting was one of the major newspapers here in the UK, and it's called The Guardian, they said that we were the #1 in the UK for nurturing student talent. And you may be wondering what they mean by that. But basically what they mean is that given where students started at the beginning of their degree and where they ended at the end of their degree, we had actually added the most value to their studies and they'd actually improved the most. And so I think that's just an amazing thing, comparing entry requirements to final degree awards and seeing that Edinburgh Napier was really making that difference for students. Okay, so I'll just move on and just tell you, I think, a little bit about some of the awards that we've won. We've won a numerous amount of awards over the years, but what you can see in front of you is really interesting. And we have 5 QS stars covering both teaching, employability and internationalisation, so really reflecting our international outlook. And we're also the winner of the Queen's Anniversary Prize in 2015, and that work was for timber and house building actually, so a wonderful achievement. And we have around 9,000 graduates from Hong Kong and well over 4,000 students studying overseas, as I said before. So lots of our students studying with us never come to campus. And if you study online, it would be great if you did come over for your graduation. Really, our research is about shaping the world that we live in and improving lives across the globe and really thinking about problem solving. And when you think about that, that ties into the level of graduate employability, because currently it's sitting at 95%. And actually, if we reflect on the MSc Business Management itself, it's probably 100%. So I've not actually met a student yet that wasn't in employment on the programme. So students are in employment, trying to upskill themselves, reskill themselves for that graduate a job. So fantastic. And in terms of enterprise, well, over the years, we've had around about 350 startups supported over the period of 10 years in Edinburgh Napier. So really good, and that's been an effect on lots of economies, not just the Scottish and the UK economy, but much further afield. And you'll see on the map, actually, when I show you the map, where our students come from. Okay, so just move on to the next slide, because I really want to share with you the 6 different schools that we have at Edinburgh Napier. And what you'll find is that the 6 different schools are actually on 3 different campuses. So the first campus that's the furthest out campus is actually Sight Hill campus. And the Sight Hill campus is the campus where we have the School of Applied Sciences and the School of Health and Social Care. So we have our nurses here, we have our veterinary scientists here, and we have our biological sciences. And they're on this big, lovely, personally designed new modern campus. When you think about the computing scientists, though, they're much closer to the town centre, and they're in the Merchiston campus, which was our original campus. So there we've got the School of Computing, the School of Engineering, and the School of Arts and Creative Industries. And some of you may well be considering an MSc in engineering, and the academics who teach that are based on that campus. In terms of us, we're in the most beautiful campus, the Craig Lockhart campus. We just have the most amazing views on a lovely, clear, sunny day. We can easily see the castle. We can easily see actually other parts of Scotland. We can see Fife. So beautiful view. And we have the state-of-the-art lecture theatre, and that's what people always comment on when they come to graduation, and they actually eventually get to see how beautiful the campus is at the very end of their studies. But we're all based here, and it's only business school academics that are based in the business school, because nearly half the students in the whole university study out of the business school. Okay, so just tell you a few more details really about Edinburgh Napier as a university. And we currently have over 9,500 students, and interestingly from 130 countries, and it probably is even more than that. We've probably lost count by how many countries people have come from. It's just such a diverse group of students and backgrounds. On campus, we have around 13,500 students studying on campus with us, and as I said, a great lot of them actually study on the business school, and we have approximately 6,000 studying with partner universities worldwide, and as I said, quite a lot also studying online. Okay, so now what I want to do is, now that we've looked at the university, we've looked at Scotland, we've looked at Edinburgh, I really want to tell you a bit about what Global Online is in relation to the programme, and then I can move on and tell you all about the programme, and you can find out more about the specialist routes on the programme, etc, etc. So what is Global Online? Global Online is really a branding. It's a consistent framework. The university several years ago decided that they would want certain programs that were designed to offer flexibility in when and where and how students study, and to make sure that the study commitments fitted in with personal work and life commitments too. So really what they wanted to do was make higher education really accessible to those whom campus-based study was not an option for them, and they were just busy and they wanted to remain in employment. So that's what Global Online really is. It's 100% online. It can be asynchronous, so you don't have to be online at the same time as everyone else, although there is the option to do that once a week with the rest of your class. There is study at a time, place, and pace that you want to, and a really, truly international student experience. And we have several intakes a year, January, May, and September, and it really fits your personal and professional demands. So in terms of Global Online and Global Online programs, they have some really cool, unique features. They have a dedicated support team that the on-campus students don't have. They also have Ask Ben, who is a frequently asked questions database. So if you type in exams on your module page, Ben will be able to answer you. And then it also has a Global Online map, actually. And if you go into the Global Online map, you can see where all the students are from. And I just love that. I can see where everyone on my programme is studying from. So it's amazing. In terms of global exposure, there's so much to see actually when you look at it. We've got, as I said, 130 countries, and online has, a growing amount of countries. Lots in the Caribbean. As you know, Caribbean is composed of tiny, small countries who don't necessarily have universities of their own. So the opportunity to study at a UK institution is very appealing. But likewise, you can see that we have students who are actually in our own hometown of Edinburgh who just don't have the time to come in and study face to face on campus. We also have students from all over Europe, students, as you can see, from all over Africa and the Middle East. We have students in Australia, we have students in New Zealand, basically everywhere you can think of, in Dubai, etc., Kuwait, Oman. You let lots and lots of students studying from all over the world, and really just creates a very global, very connected environment, which is great. Okay. So thinking then about the MSc Business Management itself, the MSc Business Management itself comes in several different varieties. So you have the generalist MSc, and then you have the 10 other with routes. So we'll be able to see them in a minute. Apart from your dissertation, all the modules that you'll take will be worth 20 credits. And then if you're going through the general route of the MSc, so you're not specialising in any particular area such as HRM, then you'll get to take the following modules. So the first module is Leadership, Strategy and Innovation. This is an excellent module because it really focuses on how individuals can lead and be very strategic around innovation in an organisation. You also study Organisational Change Management. And again, really good module for those who are faced with the challenge of leading people through periods of great change. And I think, as we can see from the turbulence often in the economy, that is the case. We have a module called Business Economics and Finance in a Global Environment. That module is fantastic because you get to look at the economics on a very small scale, and finance on a very small scale in particular industries and businesses, and then you get to see economics on the large. Wonderful to report that last year that module actually 100% satisfaction from every student who took it, which is just an amazing achievement when there was hundreds of students taking that module. In terms of creating business excellence and marketing, again, thinking about how you can utilise strategy and focusing in on the marketing function to do that. Managing innovation is my own module, and in managing innovation, we're looking at the process of innovation and how we can manage that effectively and what tools and techniques we can use for that. Contemporary issues and strategic management, really you'll be learning the models, the techniques to really allow you to dig deep and analyse any problem in your environment that you find in your business. And then we move on to research methods, where you take a topic of your choice that reflects something that you've studied on one of your previous modules, and you write a proposal about that, and you have a supervisor who supports you during that process, and then you write your final MSc dissertation on that topic. So that's a complete dissertation that you write on that, and that's worth 40 credits. There's a couple of exit points through the programme. Not everyone decides to do the full MSc. What we found was last graduation, there was 3 people who had decided to do either the postgraduate certificate or the postgraduate diploma. Although most of the students did go on and do the MSc and the 180 credits. And what we found as well was that some students completed individual modules, and that was really all they wanted from the programme, so that was great. Okay, sorry. Let me move on then to talk about the MSc Business Management and just say a few words about the specialist routes on the actual programme. So thinking about the types of routes that you can go on, the first one is MSc Banking. And I just think this is a fantastic opportunity for anyone who is perhaps in the banking industry and wishes to get promoted. You'll get experience of global finance and financial markets, institutions and banking. So excellent. And in terms of MSc Entrepreneurship, again, this route through the programme allows you to look at managing innovation, but also look at new venture planning. So you actually design your own business and your own business plan. And that's something that you can keep and maybe even implement once you leave the programme. But also that entrepreneurship, MSc Entrepreneurship prepares you to be quite entrepreneurial, to actually think enterprising in your own organisation. In terms of MSc Event Management, again, Scotland and Edinburgh, really famous for events management, and you get the opportunity to study international business events management and international festival and events management. Tying back to the MSc in banking, a similar program is the MSc in finance. You get to study global finance, but you also get to look at finance for management decision making. MSc HRM, again, opportunity for those who want a more generalist business degree but want to specialise in the HRM sector. This is the with route for you. In terms of hospitality and tourism, again, quite a small with route, but at the same time, people very passionate about hotel and catering industries and event management. In terms of the MSc Strategy and Governance, this with route is taught with the School of Computing, and it really allows you to dig deep around the area of strategy and governance and information systems, and you get to do a fantastically exciting module called Security, Audit and Compliance. In terms of the MSc Logistics and Supply Chain Management, again, you get the opportunity to think about supply chains and how you can be logistic and how you can support global logistic chains. And again, given the global economy that we have these days, very important to think about that, think about issues such as sustainability. The MSc Marketing, we used to do marketing and sales, but now we're just purely focused on the marketing side. So if you do decide to do that with route, you'll be studying global marketing and strategic brand management. And finally, there's the MSc Project Management. And again, this is such a popular with route because you get to have experience of project management and reflect on that in a report for your module. Okay, so thinking about the actual program itself and the experience on the program, there's a whole host of resources that you can use in the online platform to support you, and you can see 3 here. So we've got the global online induction, which we strongly stress that you undertake, because that really prepares you to be a student of the university, a student of your program, and really prepares you to think about what it's going to be like to be a student on your module, especially if you've never studied under the UK system before. I would say the global online induction is really important. So once you've done your global online induction at the very start of your course, then we'd expect you to take part in the global online MSc Business Management webpage, post an hello to other people on your program, tell everybody where you're based, and just basically connect with people. And then you will then move on to look at your module page, and of course what you can see here is my module page, and students get the opportunity to introduce themselves, speak to each other, and really have a good dialogue around innovation. Okay, so thinking about the structure then of the way that you will study and the online programs, I think is important as well. So what we encourage you to do is study up to 2 modules per trimester. Now, you can study one if you choose to, and some people do. And the reason why you may actually decide that you want to focus on just one module at a time is the fact that they're all worth 200 hours of study. So you will be studying for maybe 10 to 12 hours a week actually per module. So quite a lot of time spent on that, plus the assessments. So really do think if 2 is what you want to do, or do you just want to focus on one? And then when you start, you will do your induction. You'll get direct access to ENU Global Online Resources. And then every week, there'll be a predetermined weekly surgery session that will allow you to speak to the module leader or the tutor on your module to discuss any issues you're having, and also to speak to other students on your program as well. So lots of opportunity to get support as you study on the program. Really exciting that way. Okay, so just tell you a little bit about the structure of the way that the modules are on the program. They're broken down into 11 units. So the first unit is always the module overview. It's a short video, and it's a welcome video from your module leader. And then it's broken down into 10 subject-specific units. And so those units cover your learning outcomes for the module. They give you an introduction, including a short video on the actual module. There is prescribed reading, particularly essential reading for the units. You can undertake self-assessment questions, and there's also reflective exercises. There's an end of unit summary here and an end of unit progress test. And there's always further reading that's available to you, which takes you a bit deeper into the topic. And they should be available electronic to you wherever you are located, but you will have your main textbook that will be there to support you. Okay, so in terms of the way that the modules are delivered, here's some of the key features. So we always have a discussion topics that you can take part in. There are case studies, and you can do them in your own time, and they have outline solutions. We have the assessment always available at the very beginning of the trimester. We have sample assessments also for you to have a look at, so that you can see some ideas about what to write in your assignments. And then we have a weekly WebEx virtual office hour. So really, really lots of variety, lots of ways that we support you and your independent study. There's also a calendar of academic year, and at the moment we're split into 3 trimesters of 15 weeks. So anyone starting in January, for example, would take 2 credits, then they would go on in May and August to take another 2 20-credit modules. Then in trimester 3, they would take another 2 20-credit modules, and then trimester 4, they would move on to the research methods, and then finally on to their dissertation project, and they would complete that in the 5th trimester. So everything is highly structured. You can see on a week-to-week basis, you have access to the module material in week 1. You start your module study weeks 2 to 12. You have a bit of revision and a bit of supported learning. And then at the end of week 14, you submit your final assignment. Okay. And in terms of support throughout the program, you've got your program leader to support you. You have program activities. You have videos that you can watch. And as I said, your main focus will always be, and you can see that in green, all the different work and activities that go on during the term. Okay, here is a little glimpse into a module page, and this is my module page again. You can see there's an introductory video here, there's an Edinburgh clock, so lots of fantastic opportunities for you during the modules. And there's also weekly bite-sized learning. There's 11 units, including an introductory unit, and there's written material as well, so that you can follow it. So every week you'll be doing a different unit and reading up information around that and doing chapter reading as well. And it will all be laid out, so it's very obvious what you need to do on a week-by-week basis. There will also be a discussion forum and a student chat forum and weekly WebEx and transcripts. So what we do is we have a weekly session that's on a software called WebEx, and there'll be a transcript, or we might have recorded that session for you. You'll be able to watch it back. So it's just, you won't miss a thing when you're studying online with us. We capture everything that's being said. Okay, in terms of you and your learning, we have a workbook. What's great about the workbook is you do reflective exercises throughout your whole program, and that workbook can be PDF'd and it can be downloaded, and you can keep that forever, really. And so it just allows you to reflect on organisations of your choosing, or other organisations that you're directed to by your module leaders. Who are the people that support you while you study? Well, you've got your module leader and your online tutors, and they will provide with you their academic leadership and support. But you've also got Global Alliance, who are a dedicated non-academic support function, and they monitor your progress, and they will contact you if you're inactive, and they will direct academic queries to module leaders and tutors on your behalf. You've also got a university policy whereby you must use Edinburgh Napier email when communicating with us. So I think that's quite important for you to do that, so that we know what stage you're at in your studies. And so that would be great. And then I've just put the email for Global Online Support on there for you. Okay, so let's move on to think about the entry requirements during before you study. What we need from you is a bachelor's honours degree at two or above. But we also look for applicants who have background in any subject discipline as well. What's important, and Helen will stress this, we do consider lesser qualifications if you have good work experience. So don't be afraid to apply if you've worked for a number of years, but you don't quite have a 2-2 degree. There's an English language requirement as well, and again, ask your Stafford advisor about that, because they'll be able to guide you in that and how to undertake an approved English language test. Okay, some of the student feedback that I've had on my modules, well, for example, people have said how impressed they are with ENU and our support, and how we brought the learning into their living room. They thanked us for excellent support on learning materials. They thanked us for great modules. They've thanked us for really providing that opportunity to develop business acumen, even though their background was in a completely different area. So lovely, lovely feedback. This is just from one of my module a few years ago, but I just think it just captured some of the efforts that we were putting in for the students at the time. Okay, so just one last thing to say really before I hand back to Helen, and that is that there will be a grant, and Helen will be able to talk you through that, but that's amazing, 1,000 American dollars, so she can tell you all about that. And then there is an application deadline as well for your study for applying, and that is the 16th of December. So we do hope that you will consider applying for the MSc in Business Management. And we look forward to seeing you actually in January. So Helen and I are just going to take any questions that you have before the end of the webinar. So thank you very much for listening to me. And hello, Helen.
Hello.
And welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Jackie. That was very, very informative. And I do see quite a few questions that have come through. So again, I'm going to start grouping them. Okay, so two questions from Jeanette. The first question is, what is the difference between the Edinburgh Napier MBA and the MSc? I have looked through the modules and I can see that some of them are similar, if not identical. Can you please give me your insight on that?
Oh, yes. I think an MSc really prepares people who want a change in career, or they're early, they've just left university, or they don't have much business knowledge. And so when you go through the material, although it might cover similar topics, when you go through the material, when it's the MSc, you'll see far more examples, and they'll be coming from the academic, and they'll be directing you to more reading. Whereas when you're engaged in an MBA, it's actually coming from you and the examples. What you'll find is there'll be so many people taking the MBA that will have a wealth of experience to share with you. So that's really what I would say is it really depends on where you are in your life and what you want to get from it. But certainly, although you might see similarities in the actual experience of doing the MSc and the experience of the MBA, I actually think they're quite different. And that's why we actually, for nearly all the modules, you will be on your own MSc program and you won't have any interaction with the other program.
Okay, excellent. And I have also read that Edinburgh Napier is in the process of attaining the ACSB accreditation. When do you think that the university will achieve this?
Yes, so we're in the process of that, and we've not actually set a date of when we will enter for that. So it may well be in the next few years, but I don't actually have a date to give you for that. And I think you can understand that, because what we do with AACSB accreditation is we really reflect on assurance of learning, and we look at improvements across our programs. And we have 9,000 students and we have multiple programs, so we have a lot of investigation to do to make sure that we have the best application that we can to to get that accreditation for you. So rest assured that we are working very hard, but don't ever forget that we are actually very closely scrutinised by the Quality Assurance Agency in Scotland, and we're validated by them, and we've had really good feedback from them about the quality of our programs.
Is this qualification recognized in Canada? The reason I'm asking this is I need to actually immigrate there quite soon.
Well, I've actually had quite a few Canadian students through the years. So Helen's nodding here. Yes, it will be. And I think one of the important things people say is if it's an online degree, it won't be recognised in my country. But actually, when you look at the qualification that you get, nowhere does it say online. You stand next to someone who studied face-to-face on campus the MSc Business Management, and you've studied exactly the same syllabus. So in most cases, it's absolutely fine, and you can travel the world with it. No one will know where you studied.
Okay, and I've noticed that the modules, the core modules are obviously all identical, with the exception of two specialist modules. Is there any possibility that I can actually take 4 specialist modules and then get a double degree?
No, the quality the quality structure of the university is such that you can only pursue one specialism with us. So that we've got to abide by the quality regulations. So no, you can't get a double degree.
Okay, and Janae just wants to follow up on your comment about the difference between MSc and MBA. So I just want to get this straight. Is the MSc more tutor-led and the MBA more student-led?
That's a lovely way to put it. What you find on an MBA module will be that, yes, there'll be a lot of proactiveness in terms of the students because they might have more experience about a particular topic. So for instance, if I'm talking about managing innovation with the MSCs, then I may well describe that in more detail than I would with the MBAs because a lot of them have actually led innovation. So yes, you will. There is subtle differences, but both of them will prepare you for a career in business management. And if you do the general route, particularly the general route of the MBA and the general route of the MSc, there's a lot of parallels, but it really depends on what qualification you want to get and how important that is. For some people, the MBA is a badge, it's a particular stage in their career. For example, I know a lot of people who've done it after their PhD, for example, to allow them to get promoted through the business. Whereas the MSc, you will be given lots of examples, you will be supported, and you'll have much smaller classes, more hands-on support around your thinking around the topics.
Okay, and how are assignments actually graded? And if I do happen to fail an assignment, can I retake it? A very, very common question, that.
Right, so we'll start with if you fail an assignment, can you take it again? Yes, you've got one more opportunity to take it. However, if something has happened in your life, and we've had quite a few things happen to people, such as typhoons, we've had flooding, then you can apply for a deferral of assessment as well if you've got grounds for that. So you can, so even if you've not been able to submit and you think it's a fail, actually you might have been able to defer that assessment. So that's something to talk to us about. But if you actually do sit the assessment and you fail the assessment, there's one more opportunity for you. And Global Online Support, your support system, will help with that. And then what was the first part of the question, Helen?
Okay, so go back through there again.
Yeah, there was another little part to that question.
How they graded.
How they graded? Yes, they're on a. We have a postgraduate scale, but basically you'll find your results are you're a fail, or you're a pass, or you're a distinction. So if you get, so we've got several distinction grades, a D1, a D2, a D3, D4, D5, and you can find out a bit more on the university website about that. And then we have passes. So we have a P1 pass, which is just a pass, P2, which is a better pass, P3, a good pass, P4, a very good pass, and so on. So yes, lots of different passes, and again, lots of different fails as well. But if you fail, again, you realise if you've got an F as a result, then you will have to resit that assignment.
Good. Okay. And is there a possibility for me to switch between online and on-study campus in the event that I do want to immigrate to the UK?
That's a fantastic question. And we actually got asked that recently just by a student who was applying, who'd gone through the application process. You can't just transfer straight off. What you've got to do is withdraw from my program and put a new application in. However, the actual requirements for both programs are the same. So it's very unlikely that you'll get rejected from the on-campus. Obviously, you need to get a visa, but it's very unlikely that you would get rejected for on-campus because our levels are the same. And in fact, if you're if you're taking some of the credits, so you might have done 1 or 2 modules with me, and as long as the modules are the same as the on-campus ones, you'll get your credit for that, and then you'll just start again. But be mindful of the structure of the on-campus. It's not as flexible as the online one. So you would want to compare and be very careful about what module you did first on the online before you decided to withdraw and then study on campus.
Good. And is the study pattern more related to case studies or through a lot of theoretical readings?
I think what you'll find is a mixture of both, but primarily there is a lot of case studies. And I think we can learn so much by looking at organisations that have been successful and have implemented certain strategies. So I think that's what you'll find is that we'll teach you some of the theory, some of the models, but there'll be a lot of application. You will be reading through a case study, reading through a scenario and really reflecting. And then what's great is you can take that reflection back into your own organisation. So for instance, if you're studying about a bank, and it might be a UK bank, might be an American bank, but you're based in Dubai or Africa, then you can reflect that back into your own experience of that and compare it. And that's what I love about it. You're taking knowledge from different countries and synthesizing it, thinking about it, and it's great to get that. So yes, a lot of case studies are used during the study experience.
Good. And I have actually completed a postgraduate diploma. Will you be able to actually give me any credits?
I think, as Helen will tell you, you need to put in an application, you need to make a good case, you need to be very clear about what the learning outcomes are. They have to map on exactly to the learning outcomes of our modules so that we meet our quality requirements. But by all means, do apply. By all means, do flag that up at the very early stages. And if we can, we will.
Good. And I'm very scared of the finance module. Can you please let me know how this will be assessed?
Oh, well, I think if memory serves me right, they're all the finance are certainly around applying certain tools and techniques to case studies. So that's my memory of that one. But every year the assessment will change, just because it's assessed one way then doesn't mean it'll be assessed the same way. But what you'll find is most of them have a 90-10 split where you have multiple choice end of unit test questions plus an assignment to do as well, a much bigger assignment.
Good. And when are graduations scheduled? I know some universities have 2 graduations a year. When are the graduations at Edinburgh Napier scheduled?
Oh, a really good question. So we had graduation last week. So we tend to have it at the very end of October, and we tend to have it at the end of June, beginning of July. Okay, so just have a look. The dates are not usually published until a year in advance, and of course your course will take you a couple of years to do. So we won't know right now when you'll be graduating, but that's a really, really good guide for you.
Yeah, and what is the maximum time that I can actually stretch this program?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think a few years is fine. Um, we at the moment we haven't really started to limit too much, but 4 years tends to be the maximum that we allow people to do. But obviously, sometimes people suspend studies. They go away for a period of time as well. But I think most people do it within about 24 months, something like that. Yes. 2 years tends to be from start to finish, which is just an amazing investment if you think about it. When I did my own online masters, I had to take it at a very slow pace, and it took me 3 years to do it, and that was the fastest way I could do it. So yes, you can take your time, you can be a bit slower, as I said, but most people will be doing it within the 2 years, which is great.
You mentioned that we could get in on the basis of our professional experience. Can you advise how many years working experience I would need if I do not hold a bachelor degree?
Yes, I mean, I think that's something for you to reflect on. I think it's around about 6 years, but I think but Helen will be able to give you advice on that. And it's not just about your work, it's about the types of roles that you've had, because we do want to see that you've had some kind of management experience in it. If you've not had management experience and you've had a very low level entry role, then it might be that we don't look we have to consider even more work experience for you. So certainly it's always worth discussing with Helen and the rest of Stafford Associates what that would entail.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Jackie is quite correct. Each application is looked at its own merit. We would have to look at your extensive CV. So if you are going to send your CV through to your academic consultant, please ensure that it's quite detailed with all your roles and responsibilities, as Dr. Jackie has said, so that we can give you a proper pre-assessment on that. Okay. What is covered in the induction? I have been informed that I should attend induction. Is this important?
Yes, induction's really good because, as I said earlier, it tells you all the rules and the regulations of the university. So you're really learning to be an Edinburgh Napier student before you start. Um, and then it covers just information about really useful things that you're going to need as you study. So who to contact for library books, who to contact if there's a problem. There's just a really good information in there. So don't be worried about that. It won't take you very long, just a few days. But once you've done it, you'll be very well prepared for your study online.
I would love to attend the graduation in the UK. Will the university provide me with the necessary documents and assist me in order to get my visa?
Yes, the university is always happy to help. Global Online Support are just wonderful that way. And just be aware that it can take a few months to get these things in place. So it might mean that you don't graduate in October, but you come in the summer. But that's fine because the weather will be even nicer then. So yes. And you don't even need to come. Um, Everyone will get their degree as long as they register for their qualification. And I think it's free now to graduate in absentia, which is just brilliant. And you'll get your degree certificate sent out to you.
Okay, in your opinion, should I take two modules or one? I do have quite a lot of work on my plate. I normally work about 8 or 9 hours a day.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, should I be doing one module or two modules?
So it just depends. What some people do is they do one at the very beginning just to see how that feels, to get into the habit of being a student again, and then they realise that they want to do two modules. If you do it the other way, you might find it a real challenge, and you might be thinking that you're absorbing a lot of information really quickly, but not really thinking about how best to use that in your own working environment. So it's totally an individual choice, um, and we're just here to guide you on that. But Global Online Support can tell you what's the best module to start on and things like that. So there's lots of guidance.
Okay, and do I get issued with a student card? I know a lot of universities do not provide online distance learning students with cards. Does Edinburgh Napier provide this?
We do. And I think that's fantastic because it creates that sense of belonging. And when people come on campus, they've got their card here. They can go to the library, they can get a book out, they can walk about. It's fantastic. And people do sometimes come and visit us before they finish their course. And that card just tells everyone who you are and you're a member of the Edinburgh Napier family.
Okay, and one last question. Is there any possibility that I can actually see my tutors face to face if I arrange this, or can I chat to them via Skype if I have an issue with a particular part in my studies?
Well, as we said, every week there is that opportunity, and it's using a virtual office hour, and we use a tool called WebEx, so you will get the opportunity to speak to those people during your studies. And of course, other opportunities can be arranged, but it would be at the discretion of the tutor and the module leader.
Absolutely. Okay, fantastic. Well, I've managed to actually group all the questions together.
Well done.
Thank you very much, everyone. And as Dr. Jackie has said, the application deadline is the 16th of December, so it's just around the corner. Limited places available. I really do encourage everyone to send all the application documents to your academic consultant so we can send it to the university and get that all-important unconditional offer just before the Christmas break, which will be a lovely little gift for everyone. So I do hope that you'll join us. Again, thank you so much, Dr. Jackie. It was
wonderful. Thank you, Helen. Been a pleasure as usual.
Good, and I'm sure we'll hear from all of you soon and have you on the program as soon as possible.
Excellent. We've got 234 people now, Helen. So amazing amount of students across the globe, and we'd love other people to join. So please do consider it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.